I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. Sucker MCs should call me sire. To roll my kingdom, you must choose fire. I won't stop rocking till I retire.
Now we rock the party. Income correct. Yes, sir. Come on back. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes, sir. Run DMC, what y'all know about that out there. Willie Epting Jr. Second segment. Hashtag Brothers of Baseball show right here on the Big Game Christian Sports Network. It's your boy, man, checking in. No family members with me on this episode, but it's all to the good because, well, number one, I did not give them any notice that I was going to be going on this particular time and space. But it's all good. They are welcome anytime. They know that. Of course, that is Les, Chris, Mel, Liz, Dorit, DC, Sapphire, Rachel, and anybody else out there that wants to join in, man, and talk some baseball with your boy, man. You know, I already know what it is. Thank you guys out there for checking us out on Facebook, and LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram TV. I see you guys out there checking us out. And of course, Twitter. Man, we appreciate the over 13,000 goats that have and you know what? Let me just say this real quick. The YouTube channel, I need you guys to go out there and hit the subscribe button. I'm telling you right now, I don't know what is going on out there in the world of social media, nor do I really care, because as long as it's growth and there's not cancerous growth, I'm all for it. And whatever knowledge or wisdom I gain from whatever is going on behind the scenes, once I figure that out, I am going to do my due diligence and due duty to help those along the way, because our YouTube channel here at ShakeBack Media Group, search for it on YouTube, it has gone from 483 subscribers 16 days ago to 810 as of tape time. So whatever's going on out there behind the scenes, again, I really don't care as long as it's all to the good, and you already know what it is. So we're going to get to some more baseball talk here in a minute. I got several, ladies and gentlemen, several Did You See That's coming here in the second segment. And of course, the Bloodbathing is bathing. And that, of course, is the American League East, the American League Central, and the National League Central. We're going to get to that here in just a second. Just in case you missed it in the first segment, yes, Whitey Herzog, rest in peace to one of the GOATs in the managerial ranks in Major League Baseball, passing away rather, at the age of 92. Full life he led. And of course, we paid homage to him in the first segment. I do want to talk one other thing about Whitey before we move on any further in this second segment. But before we do that, man, I think I need to pay the bills. This second segment, it is being brought to you by us. Who is us? We is us. Who is we? We is Big Game Christian Sports Network. This may be a baseball show, but the NFL draft is right around the corner. And I'm telling you right now, you guys need to meet us there. Where's there? Well, I'm glad you asked. The countdown is on for the slightly censored, overhyped, and unofficial Draft Talk live from Simple Simon's Pizza in Crowley, Texas at 208 East Main Street. Join us for some delicious debates on NFL picks and magnificent wings, pizza, calzones, and more. Thursday, April 25th, 7 p.m. CST, that's Central Standard Time. We will be live. Our face will be in the place. It would be great if your face could be in there with us. Save the date. Join the entire BGC Sports Network family for the overhyped, unofficial, slightly censored Draft Talk live from Simple Simon's Pizza of Crowley, Texas, 208 East Main Street. Again, come on out, man, and holler at your folks. It's going down. We're going to have a great time. Okay, so I got a lot more to get into, and I'm going to just jump right into this thing because I love being able to share certain things that occur, whether it's in baseball or any other sport for that matter. And if it's a video in particular, I do my best to cut it, edit, or do whatever I need to do to get it onto the show. And I welcome feedback because to me, these things, some of them can be ridiculous, and then some of them are really just that funny. And there's a couple in here that'll make you say just this. If you're ready, are you ready? It'll make you say this.
Oh my God.
And I've got a couple, and one of them is from probably my favorite, non-favorite player or pitcher in all of the major leagues. Nestor Cortez, starting pitcher, left-hander for the New York Yankees. If you're not familiar with Nestor Cortez, here, let me enlighten you, because what that dude has done in this version of Did You See That? Well, just let me do this. Let me let the video do the talking, because I think it's really, really funny. And as I can't remember the kid's name on TikTok, I think his name is Harry. Let's go ahead and play the clip. So you see Nestor Cortez here. He's winding up. Look at this. Look at this. This dude is crazy. Look, pump fake, hitch, pump fake, and then he gets it with a change up at the top of the zone, 78 miles per hour. Yeah, that had me saying just that. Did you see that? And then here's another. I don't know why these things are so funny to me, but they are. So here we go.
Oh my God.
And this one is, well, he's the notorious umpire that was said to have missed the eclipse as it passed through last week here in Dallas, or the Dallas area. Look at this guy here.
Whoa. 2-1. And, oh my goodness. 2-2. You have got to be kidding me. What in the world? We've just completely lost it here.
This is just bad. 3 consecutive pitches well off the plate. Catcher's having to move the glove back a foot to try to frame that thing. I mean, that's just so obvious.
Diaz. Altuve with a 1-0 count. Oh, it's good to have you back in the booth. I know you watch every game.
I do.
It's hard to really get upset with that call because Wyatt Langford and others for the Rangers have had that call go against them. But as a hitter, you hate to see that call to strike.
This is the world famous but infamous Angel Hernandez, and yet typical in typical Hernandez fashion. I mean, those pitches weren't even close. I mean, not even close. And you know what? What I found astounding about the whole thing, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that none of those batters, none of them complained. None of them did, because they already knew what time it was. Now, I love putting poll questions up on Twitter, and I feel like this is one that is worthy of an opportunity for people to vote on. And I think I'm going to word it to the effect of this. Out of any sport, the 4 major sports that we all, or that I should say most of us follow, whether it's all 4 of them or any combination of the 4, which official in which sport you can name? We can name the official. I'm not going to name the official, but which official and in which sport has had the most egregious history of bad calls in their respective sports? I'm going to put that on the poll on Twitter here in just a moment. All right. And I got one more thing too, because again, I love Twitter and the polls and the fact that we get to interact with one another as fans. And then some people like to take it too far, but it's all good. I don't really let that bother me. But I got a couple poll questions that I actually put up on Twitter last week. SHK BK MEDIA GRP on Twitter. Here's the first one. It says better overall right-handed hitter, Albert Pujols or Miguel Cabrera. I got 127 votes in at this point in time, but the poll or the posters are overwhelmingly favoring Albert Pujols over Miguel Cabrera, which really kind of surprises me because Miguel Cabrera was that dude. Miguel Cabrera is the last person to have a triple crown for the first time since 1969 or whatever it was. And for Albert to be leading him 76% to 24% at this current juncture is mind-boggling to me. And then I even saw some comments under the poll how Miguel Cabrera juiced up to get to where he is, and that there are people that some people knew when he was in the minors that could testify to Miguel juicing up. And then you had other people, and I don't know how true that is, and that ain't what this debate is about, because I don't care. I don't care about that. As long as it was legal in baseball, don't come at me with that BS. So here's the thing. I understand Albert Pujols has hit over 700 home runs. I understand that there's only, 3 people in the history of this sport to do that. But for the disparaging amount of variation of voters in terms of how high Pujols is over Miguel Cabrera, I found that kind of interesting. And Miguel Cabrera has, I want to say 2 World Series championships, maybe just 1. And I think St. Louis Fat Albert with St. Louis has a couple. Miguel Cabrera, he could hit for average and he could hit for power. Now, not saying that Albert Pujols couldn't do that, but I think overall, in the grand scheme of things, over the course of their careers, Cabrera's batting average was higher on a per annual basis type of deal than Pujols. I have to go back and check and see, but I'm not exactly sure. But even if that's not the case, for this poll to be that wide of a difference kind of shocked me. Okay, and then I got one more. This one actually has already closed. This one has baseball fans. Which one of these do we think will happen, that we will see first again? 100 bags swiped in one season, a starting pitcher winning 25 games in a season, or 65 or more home runs in a season. And with this one, you can see that the vote, 171 final votes in, and it was more closer to a split than the last poll. 65 home runs. I think most people are thinking that since we saw Aaron Judge do it last year, or the year before, with the 60 some odd home runs that he hit, and with the advent of the pitch clock and everything else, that's going to be the overwhelming thing. I'm not so sure. Now, out of these 3 questions of 65 plus homers, starting pitcher that wins 25 games, or 100 bags stolen in a year, out of these 3 things, I think that there's only one that we're going to see. And it won't be nearly as prevalent as people may think that it might be, or from what we've seen in the past. So I think I have to agree with the voters there with the 65 plus home runs. I'm going to throw another Twitter poll out there because, again, I love talking about this stuff. I love the historical perspective that some people out there on social media help me bring to the table. And I can't thank you guys enough for participating in all of that. So that's really, really dope. All right, we got a couple social media comments. Let's see who's out there. Trippy OG. What's happening, player? Yeah, I appreciate the fire, man. I try to keep it lit, and the BGC Sports Network is the station that remains lit 24/7. And then Trippy OG says, where was the strike? Nah, boy, losing it. He is losing me. Exactly. And that, of course, is commenting on Angel Hernandez and a strike zone that seemingly stretches from the Pacific to the Atlantic. And it ain't even that close. All right, so we got about 3.5 minutes left to go in the segment. Let's go ahead and get to the bloodbath that is the American League Central, the American League East, and the National League Central. Now, In all three of these divisions, I can tell you who I picked to win the division in the season preview show that we did. In the American League East, I had the Baltimore Orioles. Well, as of tape time, that distinction belongs to the New York Yankees. For the American League Central, I had the Minnesota Twins. As of tape time, that distinction goes to the Cleveland Guardians. And in the in the National League Central, I had the Chicago Cubs winning that division. Right now, as of tape time, that lead is dead set in Milwaukee, which is ironic because the manager that went from Milwaukee to Chicago is the same manager that I picked to win rookie or manager of the year. So why do I call it a bloodbath? The reason why it's a bloodbath because every team as of tape time in those three divisions, all of them are playing at least 500 ball. Now, is it sustainable? Well, let's look because last year we saw it be sustained for quite some time throughout the season. I mean, all the way up until I want to say the beginning of September, maybe the end of August, when the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, the Rays, and the Orioles were all flirting with 500 or better ball that late into the season. And with the with the scheduling changing the way that it has, I don't see why it wouldn't be sustainable. And that actually brings me to another question. I want you guys to tell me if you guys think that teams that are in the same division that are playing at or above 500 ball for a good portion of the year, do we think that that's good for baseball? I actually happen to love it. Why? Because number one, it's parity. Number two, it makes the games that more interesting. And number three, in sports, right? We want to go out and try to win every game. We know that technically every game matters, but there's really only one sport where every game truly does matter, and that's college football. So if baseball can get as close to that mentality as possible, I think it's that much better for the game going forward because every series is going to matter. Maybe not every game, but for sure every series is going to matter, particularly when you get down to the nitty gritty. And we used to call it on the hashtag Brothers of Baseball show when my former and future co-host Willie Epting was running the show. We used to call it the trade deadline, the final marker of the year, because it was the deadline and then there was the waiver deadline that took place in August. Of course, that's no longer here. But at that point, if four of the five teams or even all five teams are playing that close to 500 by that point in the year, it makes it that much more intriguing, especially from a general manager standpoint, because now they have to have the wheels turning. What are we going to do? Are we going to buy or are we going to sell? And I just think personally that is magnificent for the sport of baseball. All right, that's going to do it for the second segment. Come on back to the other side. We got to get to the hashtag look ahead and some more stuff. Willie Epting Jr. hashtag Brothers of Baseball show. Y'all come back and holler at us.